Hello, and welcome to Wrestling Through the Week. And for the first time, since we introduced the Wrestling Through the Week format about a month ago, we actually have a genuinely good week of wrestling to talk about. I really enjoyed this week. I thought this was one of the best weeks of WWE television in months and months. I thought this was really good. There were some bad things, true, there always are, and I know some people won't have enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed it. Let me tell you why. Okay, we started off with Raw, and this week we had a guest host who's been involved in the wrestling business, who understands the wrestling business, who loves the wrestling business, and as usual, when that's the case, we get a good Raw, and Dusty Rhodes delivered a very good Raw. He was an exceptional guest host. In my view, he was better than Ted DiBiase, who I also thought was very, very good. I like the promo Dusty Rhodes cut at the start. We all know Dusty Rhodes can cut a promo. I like the way he was interacting with the crowd. I like the fact that his character's sole interest on the show was to help his son, Cody Rhodes. I thought that made sense. And I really liked the swerve at the end. I thought the swerve worked perfectly. Mainly because I wasn't expecting it. I know most of you probably saw it coming from a mile away. I was totally surprised by it. I just didn't see it coming. And I thought it was really good when it happened. So, yeah, I thought Dusty Rhodes was a great guest host. There were some bad things on Raw, as there always are, so let's get those over and done with. First, the bad thing we have to see each and every week, Hornswoggle versus Chavo. This whole thing's appalling. You know, I don't have to go into that. This week, the obligatory gimmick for their match was a Texas Bull Rope match, a very loose interpretation of a Texas Bull Rope match, in which Chavo is dressed up as a cow. I'm fairly sure it was a cow, not a bull. Anyway, Hornswoggle wins with ease, as usual, and then Chavo's about to beat him down after the match, and then Evan Bourne shows up. Why Evan Bourne is involved in this feud now, as though this feud could get any worse, dragging someone with Evan Bourne's talent down into this crap. Anyway, Evan Bourne hit Chavo with his running knee to the face, and Chavo's lying prone, unconscious, on the ground, right next to the turnbuckle, just waiting to receive somebody's top rope finish move. So we have two choices here. Either we can watch comfortably one of the most watchable finishing moves in wrestling today, Evan Bourne's shooting star press, or we can watch the Tadpole Splash. I think you all know which one they picked. We also had a Divas Battle Royal, which was terrible, but it did lead to a good Divas title match between Mickie James and Beth Phoenix. I thought this was a good match. I thought Mickie James took some great bumps. I thought Beth Phoenix looked really good. She looked dominant. Clearly this feud's going to continue, with Beth probably becoming the champion at some point down the line because she looked really good in this match. The ending of this match is great. Mickie James hits a round the world DDT from nowhere. Perfect round the world DDT. I mean, John Morrison botches that move quite regularly. Mickie James nailed it. It was a great ending to a good match. I enjoyed that. Anyway, back to the bad. Big Show versus Mark Henry. They were advertising this like this was going to be some kind of classic, you know. It was supposed to be the meeting of the two immovable objects of WWE. When I saw it, when they first advertised it, all I could think was, is there any chance this isn't going to be the worst match of the week? I watched it. It was the worst match of the week by a distance. It was like Kevin Nash versus Hulk Hogan, but slower. We had our test of strength, our collar elbow tie-up, a headlock by Mark Henry and Big Show that lasted about a month. The only good thing about this match is that they booked it correctly, in that Mark Henry, of course, has to appear stronger than the Big Show, even though the commentators were shocked by this. If they booked it any other way, they'd be morons with Mark Henry's gimmick being the world's strongest man. That was the only good thing about this. I'm not going to even talk about the ending, because who gives a fuck? Who even cares? But that was awful. The only thing this match was good for is it was a match between two people with monikers which aren't true. That's all I could think of, because we got the Big Show, who's evidently not the world's largest athlete. Evidently, Yao Ming is taller than him and more athletic, even though he's not very athletic. And Mark Henry, evidently not the world's strongest man, hasn't won a strongman competition since 2002. That's like Brock Lesnar claiming he's the WWE champion. No, you're not the world's strongest man. You haven't been in years. Anyway, so that was the bad stuff. And we had some things I wasn't sure about. We had the DX and Dusty Rhodes promos backstage. I found them kind of funny. I thought the Shockmaster bit was good. I liked when Shawn criticised the fact Triple H gets too many title shots. I liked when Shawn Michaels got criticised for not being as big a draw as WCW between 96 and 98. I thought that was all good. What I didn't like was when they were talking about the clique. Basically, Triple H says to Dusty Rhodes, "How could you possibly let WCW fall like this?" And Dusty Rhodes says, "It wasn't me who let it fall, it was Kevin Nash. It was your friend Kevin Nash." And Triple H goes, "Oh yeah, that's right, because my friend was a dick. Kevin Nash was a dick, because we were all dicks back then, because we used to rule wrestling." And it was just the way they were so dismissive of it, like, "Oh yeah, it used to be bad, but now I'm okay." While Shawn Michaels is less of an arsehole than once he was, Triple H is even worse. And the idea that the clique still doesn't rule WWE is ridiculous, and is disproved every time we watch Monday Night Raw. Because DX were on the screen for about 15 minutes during this Raw. They didn't wrestle a fucking match. Last week they were on the screen for about 50 minutes of Raw. The clique still rules wrestling, alright? We still have to watch these guys constantly. Anyway, we had some good things. We had MVP versus Jericho, very good match, made MVP look very good. There was some mat wrestling, chain wrestling at the start. I enjoyed it. It was fast. MVP is always much better when he gets a good opponent. Jericho wins with a code breaker. Right. I think Jericho should win this match. I think Jericho doesn't win enough matches. My problem is, 1. Should you really have MVP after his breakout match where he beats Jack Swagger? Should you have him lose his next single match? 2. Should you have JTG beat Chris Jericho and MVP not beat Chris Jericho? That makes it seem like JTG's better than MVP. Evidently not true. We also had a great US Championship Fatal 4-Way match. I thought this was good. It was The Miz, Jack Swagger and Carlito taking on the champion Kofi Kingston. Kofi looked great in this. I think Kofi has gotten better over recent weeks. He used to be quite sloppy if you ask me, but he's really improved. He did this great leaping crossbody over the top rope which took out all 3 men. He also did another beautiful crossbody later on which took out 2 men. The Miz was the other standout performer in this match. You know how often The Miz, his punches and kicks don't look like they're connecting, mainly because they're not. They looked like at this time. His aggressiveness worked. It all looked very good. He was impressive. End of the match, we got the usual, all of them doing their finishers on each other, which I like because they all have great finishers. Raw's mid-card, really, really good. Kofi Kingston retains. Don't really know what his title reign's achieving, but he's impressive, so what are you going to do? Anyway, we have the old, we have Cena delivering a good promo actually, which I might come to later if it gets near the awards. And we have Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes with the screw job. The best bit of the screw job, of course Dusty Rhodes turns on them and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes start beating up John Cena, and John Cena fights them off. Then DiBiase comes along and they destroy Cena. DX come out, and the best bit was when Dusty Rhodes knocked Triple H out with his cowboy boot. Awesome. Orton also RKO's Rhodes, which I was fine with as well. I thought that worked. Anyway, very good Raw. Then we had a very good ECW. A little short on content, but very good nonetheless. Shelton Benjamin versus Zack Ryder. This feud's continuing, evidently. Both these two can go. They can really go in the ring. Shelton's clearly a face. Well, he's clearly, you know, turning now to a face because he was delivering all his face offense. You know, he did that leap to the top rope, then the turn into the crossbody. Awesome. He also did a springboard blockbuster, you know, that move Tyson Kidd's been doing recently. And then one with Pay Dirt. He looked great. Zack Ryder still looks great. Good match. We also had Jackson and Kozlov destroy some jobbers. And then we had Regal deliver a beautiful promo afterwards when Christian comes out, where he just goes, "Are you mental, son?" And then challenges him to come down to the ring. And Christian says, "I will, but I'm not coming alone." And he produces Tommy Dreamer, and William Regal's like, "Tommy Dreamer is your grand plan." Genius. I thought it was hilarious. We had the Abraham Washington show, which was notable as Tony Atlas is Abraham Washington's new sidekick and just spent his entire time giggling like an idiot. It was hilarious. He was laughing at points where no jokes were being told. I thought it was, you know, put it this way, it's closer to being best moment of the week than worst moment of the week. Anyway, main event, Goldust versus Sheamus. This was a very good match. I really enjoyed this. I'm not joking. I thought Goldust put on a great performance. I didn't see him miss a single beat in this match. He made Sheamus look good. He made himself look good. This was kind of the match that I think in Triple H and Randy Orton's head, they were wrestling as the main event of WrestleMania. You know, it's that kind of aggressive, we're throwing each other around, we're taking bumps, you know, we're just kicking the shit out of each other. But they did it really well, Goldust and Sheamus. Really good match. I enjoyed it. Anyway, turn over to part 2.